So welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing the best of ping irons for 2024. There's a huge range of ping irons, and we thought it would be great because they've all been performing fantastic to do a quick overview of which ones have performed the best this year. Remember, if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends. So, when we look at the Ping set of irons and Ping as a brand, they are fantastic at producing a huge array of irons that I've got in front of me here that stretch every level of golfer, not from just ability, but also from ball flight, or what I would call ball flight. So guys that want to hit it higher, guys that want to hit it lower, guys that want a softer feel, a firmer feel, more forgiveness, more touch, more feel. So there's a huge amount. Now, in front of me here, we've got all of the irons, and they are categorized quite simply from easy to hit, shall we say, down to pure feel and harder to hit or more difficult to hit. So Ping's range starts with the G730. Now, it's an iron that they brought out March time, a very, very popular iron, a very strong iron, designed to be their hottest iron ever. We've at times slated this iron. I couldn't quite see through the year where it sat. Ping tell me it's been fantastically hot. Through test, I haven't actually seen that. But it is popular. It's not their best selling iron. It's not going to be their best selling iron, and it's definitely not in the top of the market. But it is a beautifully crafted product. It looks great on the rack, and I can see where this fits. So if you are looking for a little bit more power, maybe someone who's struggling for a little bit of distance, wants to hit the golf ball a bit higher as well, G730 is certainly a great iron to look at. You've then got the G430. Now, this iron's been out nearly 18 months and is just an absolute beast of an iron. It suits so many golfers that I didn't think that was even possible. So you've got an iron here that from the top looks really, really clean. So I think if you're used to, not necessarily a forged or a bladed head, but if you're used to something that you sort of leaner on the top, you'd actually get away with this iron. What you get from this iron though is a huge amount of consistency, a huge amount of power, and a huge amount of distance. So it's why I think G730 has struggled, because G430 is so good and 730 is that little bit more money, and it's a little bit chunkier in terms of look. So just their staple product. We then move down into the i530. So this is their hollow head. This is their head that it's forged. It's their first sort of entry into the forged market in terms of this range. It's hot. It kind of goes up against the irons like your P790, like your 245 iron. So it is a very popular iron. But again, because it's that little bit more money, and performance-wise, I've definitely seen G430 do just as well as this. Unless you're hankering after the forged feeling, actually, you'd probably stick with G430. Then we get into the 230. So we now move into more of a classic, what I'd call a classic forged head. So a little bit leaner, a little bit thinner, would look and sort of sit maybe against the 243 in the Mizuno. Strixon ZX7 for me sits here, maybe ZX5, but ZX5, 7 sort of sits in the market there. It's a really good looking product, powerful again. For me, this is kind of, with what's coming up in a second, I think this has been the lost sister, if you like, in this group. It's not really been one that we've sold a bucket load of this year. People have not been asking for this year, but I think that's due to the wonderful response they've done with the next two irons. So it's in the range, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's their best iron so far. I think what I would, out of these first four, unfortunately, I think G430 is the absolute winner. And we'll put that on the test with TrackMan in a second. And then you've got these two babies. So what you've got in these two irons, you've got Blueprint S, which is their brand new forged cavity back iron, and you've got Blueprint T, which is the bladed version. Just a phenomenal product, and you can see when you look at this iron why 230 all of a sudden gets lost in the range a little bit. I've talked about this and kind of screamed from the rooftops about how good this iron actually is this year. And for me, it is an absolute winner. And if all the work Ping have done through all of their irons this year, the Blueprint S has been the one that absolutely has been a game changer in the Ping market. So that has been phenomenal. They've then added their Blueprint T. Both of these irons had a lot of tour input. Ping have used a lot of their tour players to really try and figure out what they needed to do to get into this market. And they've done a really good job, right? It's neat, it's tidy, it's clean, it's powerful. It looks good on the rack. It's a no fuss Ping iron, which is great. Blueprint T is such a small market for Ping. They haven't sold loads of them. We haven't sold loads of them. But it is a super range, and some guys have comboed it with Blueprint S, which is a nice thing to do as well. So out of the 6 products there, G730, it's good iron, it's okay. It hasn't been their best seller this year. I530 and I230, same sort of thing. Good irons, great irons. Blueprint T, super product, looks great, feels great, but it's a blade. We know how big that market is, so it's there. So if you're looking at Ping irons, I'm pretty confident that you're going to look at these two, which is G430 and Blueprint S. So shall we hit them on TrackMan and see what the numbers say? So Blueprint S, I've raved about this iron before. You can watch some of the previous review videos if you really want to go into the tech stuff about this. Looks great, doesn't it? Performs unbelievably well, especially when you hit it fat. I think that's where maybe the i530 would come out, is a bit more forgiveness in a forged head. With that, I mean, I bashed it a little bit earlier, didn't I, i530, but it has been a decent iron for us in terms of sales, but it's not the volume sales that we'd see maybe in Blueprint S, or, well, definitely not in G430, which is just an absolute beast of an iron. I mean, that's just so good through the air. I mean, if you can hit it and you can enter this market with this type of product, then I don't know why people aren't just, you know, Ping are really now competitive in the forged. They're really competitive in the forged market. They haven't produced a great forged iron for, I don't think, for probably 10 years. And this is just beautiful to hit. So, do you know what? It's very rare that when you hit as many balls as I do and as many tests and many clubs, and I've been in the industry a long time, and we get to see a lot of really good product, and it's very rare that you get super enjoyment about the latest and greatest forged iron. It's because forged is forged, it's feel. I've really enjoyed, every time I've picked this iron up, I've really enjoyed hitting it. Not like that though. Let's hit another one. That was horrible. I mean, that was teed up, wasn't it? Really enjoyed hitting it and hit it fat. Just flight on it is just insane. Some good numbers. Ball speed's good off it. 123 ball speed. It's just solid, right? It's just a really solid iron, and looks fantastic. I'll bring over there now, we'll bring back into the picture i530, because although I sort of smoked it a bit earlier, if you do want that forged head, if you do want something that is, you know, P790 in TaylorMade and the 245 in the Mizuno have, I mean, that kind of hollow head construction, they have been really, really powerful, and people do go after them. So it's not necessarily for me. We haven't sold loads of them because it is quite expensive, but it has performed. You know, I can't knock the fact that it has performed. It's just that when you've got that many irons, there's always going to be one or two that are going to get lost, right? I think the standout iron would be Blueprint S in that forged category. So G430 then, let's go back to the old faithful. Let's find a little shaft that we can slip into this and have a little go. I just think this iron is just an absolute, well, it's just phenomenal. I mean, how Ping have managed to create an iron 18 months ago that is competing day in, day out. Longer heel to toe. We've talked about that before. It just looks like a ping iron, and I tell you what, it performs like a ping iron. You can hear the power in this thing. And again, when you put maybe what you'd call the nuanced irons, the 730, the 530, around this iron, you can see why this is so mainstream and such a good product. I think if G430 wasn't as good as it actually is, then you might see more sales in 730 and 530. And maybe Pinger have been a little bit of a victim of the brilliance of this iron. And it's kind of hampered the others. I think if you'd have brought, if any other brand would have brought out i530 as a product, I think it may have got more sales than it maybe does in the Ping range. Just purely on the basis, if you're a Ping guy and you love a Ping iron and you want something that's powerful, good, easy to hit, and a decent price point, well, why are you going anywhere other than G430? The only reason, and I mean the only reason, would be you want a forged head. Be the only reason. And you want to spend some more cash. Oh, so good. There's so much ball speed off this thing. Go on, I'll get one more. 126 ball speed out of 87. That's gone 179 through the air. I mean, how are you beating that? I think what I've got to do now, because I'm sure there'll be a comment if I don't do it, is I've got to get i530 out, haven't I? Let's find that head. Where's that shaft gone? Let's get i530. Come on. We get comments about how we don't maybe complete the story. So let's get 530 and hit it. So 125 ball speed, just beautiful iron in that in G430. So let's grab that i530 head. Gonna make it a little bit flatter for me, out with my horrible hook that you've probably all enjoyed watching. So, yeah, I mean, it looks good, doesn't it? It's a nice looking iron. Just don't get the same wow factor. So let's see. I'm going to eat my words now. I'm looking at Chris behind the camera thinking, I'm going to absolutely eat my words. If this goes 130 ball speed, I've had it. You can hear the sound difference, a bit softer. You'd expect that out of 530. Just wait for the number. 126. So similar sort of number to G430. Whew, can breathe easy now. Oh, that was horrendous. Oh, that's not fair. That's not a fair hit, that one. That was so bad. My personal preference as well is G430, and I'm going to keep raving about it, but G430, I just like the way it frames the ball. The slightly different coloured head. Right, let's try and hit a good one. That was a nice shot. See, that felt really nice. And you kind of get the taste of what Blueprint S is about in this iron. Now that softer feel. In terms of ball speed, a little bit quicker than G430. I could have just hit that one better. We were talking about a mile an hour difference, so not a lot. You can see on the camera, the actual spread of iron isn't that much difference between G430 and that's why I've said that it might get a little bit lost. But if you are going to buy this iron, you're probably going to buy it on feel more than the numbers, because the numbers are going to be similar to 430. You're going to buy it on the fact that you want a forged head and maybe you like the look of it more, which is absolutely fine. So there you go, guys. I've really enjoyed the Ping range so far this year. I think it's probably one of the best ranges of irons they've come out. I always worry that they maybe got one or two in there that they didn't necessarily need, but I understand the families and I understand the stories, which is why they do it. But Ping are definitely up as one of the leaders this year in the iron category. It's definitely one of our biggest brands that we've seen go out through the fitting studios in all the stores, which is really nice to see. They produce great product. They have great fitting opportunities as well. We know, we've seen the video that Chris and I did back at the factory up in Gainsborough, and showing how they built the clubs. Their systems are phenomenal. Great product, but for me, the top two irons of the Ping range for 2024 are the Ping G430 and the Blueprint S. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that video. Hope that was helpful. If you're looking for a new set of Ping irons, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends.